Hi, welcome to Getting Started Like a Pro and the MLM Profit Academy. We're going to teach you some simple habits for really achieving your financial success. We're going to train you on exactly how to get there in the network marketing or MLM business. Hi, my name is Bob Sears and I'm an international speaker, author, trainer, consultant, coach, and I've worked with people like Tony Robbins, Chet Holmes, and Jerry Robert. In fact, Jerry and I co-wrote a book called Leads, Where to Find Them, How to Pull Them, and How to Convert Them Faster and Easier. I'm also one of the co-founders of the MLM Profit Academy, and I'm so excited to have you here. We're going to teach you some things that are going to accelerate you and get you great results when it comes to the network marketing and MLM business. One of the things that you have to do in any business, and specifically in the network marketing industry, is you're going to prepare for success. I'm always going to tell you how it is, not what you want to hear, so I'm going to let you in on a little secret. 97% of this industry fails, okay? So there's some reasons why, and I'm going to get into that. One of the reasons why, and the biggest reason I think, is because it's called easy in and easy out. I want you to imagine for a second that you were going to go buy a McDonald's franchise. Typically, anybody who buys a McDonald's franchise does succeed because they get an incredible system. In fact, if you notice, there's typically teenagers running the whole restaurant, and the reason they can do that is there's a system for everything, and that's sort of what we're going to teach you, is how to develop systems to really prepare you to succeed in this business. But if you spent $1 million or more on a McDonald's franchise, and you had the first customer come in and say, I'm not buying a hamburger from here, it's not a good place to eat, and I think this is a pyramid scam, you probably look at them and go, whatever, dude, you need to leave, and next. And that's sort of the challenge. I mean, there is some rejection in our business. We're going to try to mitigate that, and we're going to teach you some techniques and strategies to really talk to people who are what we call leaning forward and interested in your business. But I need you to really, really, really understand. Again, I'm telling you, how it is, not what you want to hear, but there's going to be some rejection. Some people, it's just not for them, and that's okay. But I want you to always think about this. If you had spent $1 million, and this can be $1 million business for you, if you understand it and do it correctly, and you also understand that, if you would put that type of money, if you had invested millions of dollars, it would be very difficult to have you not carry forward with what we're going to suggest, or it's easier to be vested when you invest a lot of money. Unfortunately, one of the things about network marketing that kind of cracks me up is that you can invest less than $5,000 and make millions ongoing residually, and that's part of the challenge. If you don't invest a lot of money, it's easier for you to give up, and that's something you cannot do if you want to succeed. So the first thing you got to do is prepare for success. I want you to know you can do this. It's actually much easier than you think. You've got to commit, though. There are 3 success principles, and you got to commit to your success. You got to commit to completing 100% of this training, and you got to commit to shadowing a successful team leader. And I need to explain something, because one of the things is committing to your success is so important. Tony says success leaves clues. Okay, just to give you an example, when I was in college, I wanted to fly airplanes. That's what I went to school for. And aviation was something that I committed to. I really committed to succeeding in that and getting my license, and then I committed to completing 100% of the training, and I did that, and I shadowed someone who's successful at it, the pilot who trained me, and people think that flying an airplane is just so mysterious and mystical, and it's just a lot of science and it's a lot of skills. And that's pretty much the way everything is. If you commit to something and you commit to doing the training and getting good at it, and you have the ability to follow someone who's already successful, you're going to get the same results. Okay? It's called modeling. I want you to think about that. If that's the first time you ever heard it, you just follow someone who's successful, you do the same things, you get the same results. It's not mystical. So just keep that in mind as we go through the training as well. The most successful people in this business, though, are those who get off to what we call a fast start. So we really encourage you to complete this training within the next 24 hours. You got to commit to it. Just do it. Get it done. Take the actions, and you'll get the result. So do that. Step number one is you're going to see success documents, probably on, I believe it's on this page or the previous page to this on the internet, on our web page. So go there to go to MLM Profit Academy and download the report and then print it out. Okay, and I want you to pause this presentation and resume it once you've got that. Now, here's a perfect opportunity for you to start, doing the things you need to do. You're going to need to write some things down, and you're going to commit to the training. And committing to the training is actually pausing this and making sure you have the paperwork in front of you so you can go through it. So do that now. Okay, I'm going to believe that you did that. We're going to move forward, and we're going to start really training. But before we do that, one of the things and one of the most essential things I have to teach you is you have to have a big enough why. And I kind of joking here, what's your why? I thought it was a cute little cartoon, but I started doing this when I was training people literally throughout the world, and I would ask a simple, easy question, and it kind of changed the game for a lot of people. And my question is this, I'm going to ask you, and I want you to think about this. Would you take a bullet for $5,000? And I want you to answer that. I mean, would you take a bullet for $5,000? Now, typically, unless there's a joker in the audience, most people would go, "Are you crazy?" And, obviously that's typically not what someone's going to do. You're not going to take a bullet for $5,000, but I want to change the question slightly. Would you take a bullet if there was a small child in danger? So at an event, something happens, someone starts shooting, would you possibly cover a young child? And it's funny because people start going, well, yeah, possibly, I might do that, depending on the situation. And then the last question I ask is, would you take a bullet for a family member or a loved one, someone that you typically really care and cherish and love, especially your own children? You do it in a heartbeat. I mean, it's not even a question. Most people, if I ask that question, they jump all over and say, yeah, for a family member, I would take a bullet without hesitation. Now, think about that. It went from being a totally ludicrous statement, would you take a bullet for $5,000, to would you take a bullet for a family member? And I just changed the question slightly. And it went from being ridiculous to absolutely. So understand this. People will do more for their why, and typically that's a close family member or a driving force within them, than you will do for money. See, the irony of when I train people is that they think they want to reach success and they want to have all this money, and that is all well and good, and that's kind of the goal, but you can't focus on the money as the main driving force. You have to have a why that's going to propel you forward. So what I need you to do is I need you to identify your why in writing. You're really going to think about what would make you do this. And let me give you some help as well. When you commit to something, I want you to think of terms of, would you do it for maybe to get money for time freedom? So time freedom is what you want, to be able to do what you want when you want. That's a driving force. That's a why for a lot of people. They want to, take time off when they want to take time off. They want to be able to travel when they want to travel. They don't want to have to worry about the money. That's a why. Maybe you want to do it to put your children through college and, have them go to the best schools. Maybe you want your daughter to have the best wedding. Maybe you just want to have that comfort and stress-free living of knowing that you have more money than you'll know and ever know what to do with it, and you have that time freedom and ability to choose your direction in life. I don't know what it is. It's different for everybody, just so you know. So what I need you to do, though, is I need you to spend some time. I need you to pause this presentation and resume play once you've completed that. Okay, we're back. Now, if you didn't do that, you're already circumventing your success. If you haven't put down your why, if you don't understand and can visualize that why and what's going to happen, and one of the things that I do is I literally presuppose my why and what's going to happen and my goals. So you really got to focus on that. So if you didn't do it, go back and do it now. But I'm going to assume you did it, and we're going to go on. Now you need to commit to your success in writing. To do so, you need to complete the success doc, number 1. Now again, this is about really committing to your success. Say you're going to succeed by a certain date. You want to write that down. You want to start picturing and really seeing how it is to succeed and getting to where you want to go. So I need you to pause the presentation and resume play once completed. Okay, we're back. I'm going to assume that you went through and did what you needed to do to get to the next level. Look, it's hard to fail, but it's worse never to have tried to succeed. Theodore Roosevelt, right? So make sure that you wrote down what you're gonna do to commit to that you committed to your success in writing. If you have not done so, make sure you do that. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is identify your goals in writing. And goal achievement is all about creating a target to hit. I used the airplane example earlier, and I'll use it again. 90% of the time, the airplane is off course when you're flying from one airport to the next because of winds and direction and traffic. So you're always guiding and directing the airplane towards the intended target. But in goal achievement, you always work with, in anything in life, you should work with the end in mind. So work with the end in mind. So you are always going towards the direction you want. But there's a real intriguing way of developing and writing your goals, which really can get you to where you want to go very quickly. So when you committed to your success, you might have put, I, Bob Sears, commit this day of September 17th, 2013 to reach this goal by this date. Well, now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to commit to and identify our goals in writing by saying, look, I want to achieve that goal, and you really visualize it to the extent that you can't even comprehend. You can smell it, you can taste it, you can feel it. You actually would put something, when I write out my goals, and this will be a short version, but I want you to really detail it as much as you can, as I would say, today is September 17th, 2014. And as I look over my desk and out the window, and as I start to look at my bank account, it has over $3.7 million in it as of the last year. And as I look out over the beautiful ocean and the beautiful landscaping, and I see the birds, and I smell the sweet ocean air, and I see the seagulls flying out the window, and I'm now at my Ocean State property, and I have this overwhelming excitement as I realize that I've achieved all the goals that I set forth a year ago today, and I'm so excited and ready to write down my goals for the next year. But I'm embracing and excited, and I feel all of the hard work that's gone into accomplishing my task this year, and I'm so excited. And so see how I've really incorporated all the emotions, all the senses, and I really visualize and see that, and I reread it over and over and over again. It becomes a mantra. So it might be a page long, but you start to feel and see and visualize that goal in writing to the nth degree, and you put so much emotion in it that it really has an impact in what you're doing and how you're doing it. And then you're going to pick a launch date, and you're going to put it in writing. So you need to write it down, right? It's at the bottom of your goal sheet and prepared to launch on that date. So look, if you're saying today I'm too busy, or I can't do it today, or I can't do it next week, or what, look, all of success begins with that first step. All of it. So you need to choose the date and time, and you have to commit to getting to where you want to go, and you have to do it. If you don't do it, you're not going to succeed. So put that date down, pause the presentation, and resume play once completed. And I hope you also done your goal worksheet. I know that could have taken a while. I know it's laborious, isn't it? But if you don't do this, how are you going to succeed? We're giving you the blueprint that all successful people have followed to get to the goals. Then you're going to connect with your leaders. look, to do so, you simply send your sponsor an email. Now, they may not be the person you need to be talking to. I mean, they might be lost, not understanding what they should be doing. Always thank them first for both the opportunity and the training, and then request the contact info of 2 team leaders. Really engage the people who are successful and really ask them how they've been successful, and really, follow what they're doing and study it and understand it. We get some success documents for your sponsors and leaders, and then pick up the phone, discuss your goals, launch date, how they can help, etc. Because one of the things we're going to teach you how to do is really create some systems around everything so that you can actually succeed, you get leads, and do some different things that are going to really propel you forward fast. And they're going to want to help you get there because it's obviously in their best interest. And then get plugged into it all. Look, there are company calls, there's training calls, there's team calls. You go through them, okay? Program notifications in your phone to include the date, the time, dial-in number, access PIN number. Go through all this. Immerse yourself. If you're going to do it, you've got to immerse yourself. And if you do, you're going to be highly successful. So do it, and you'll see the results. And then know your business. So we got some fast start videos on our site. Go through all of them. This will help you better understand your opportunity, the product, the compensation plan. I love this movie, but if you could check your email, that would be great, because we're going to be sending you some information, and we're going to be really engaging you at times with different information, different bonuses, just different information to propel you forward. So please do so and check that. And the last thing I'm going to say is really commit again to doing this, because if you completed this section, getting started like a pro, it's incredible. I'm so happy that you did. In the next session, we're going to get more into depth into mastering your business opportunity, outlining your success plan, and then stepping towards a paycheck. Because even though your why shouldn't be filled with compensation, the whole goal and the whole intention of this is to get you to a check. The faster you get to a check, the more you will succeed, because you'll actually start to see the fruits of your labor. I want to go back and really think about that, and think about the McDonald's. There are going to be some times when things don't go the way you want, but do you quit and give up, or do you push forward and succeed? If you're a winner, you're going to push forward and succeed. So I want to thank you for being here today. I look forward to future presentations at the MLM Profit Academy. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I want you to go succeed.